Hey, Justin.
What's up, man?
Not much. Just got over the stomach bug. How about you?
A little bit of that, a little bit of work, a little bit of everything. But
Yeah.
I'm happy to finally sit down and talk about this Alan Parsons Project song.
Yes. And who better to have on than the music man himself, Jay-Z?
That's right.
Here I am, once again.
Yeah. Again,
Thanks
this
for
is
having
not the Jay-Z that you may think
Yeah.
you know,
No.
but the Jay-Z we've known and love anyways from YouTube's.
Yep. JZNES.
Yeah. So today, whenever you're listening to this, we're going to talk about Journey to Silius. I guess that's how you pronounce it, right?
Yep.
Silius, I don't know.
You guys used to pronounce it Journey to Silas, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, that was before we knew what we were doing. Now we know. Now we're good. We know what we're doing.
Yeah. No doubt.
But yeah, in our defense, we used to grow up around a lot of silos. So
That's true.
Okay. Yep. Got
Yeah,
those around here too, so.
Yeah, it's spelled totally different, but
Mhm.
it's
Yes.
ingrained in you. So,
silos that you can actually jump off of into lakes.
oh yes,
Yeah.
that's very true.
Wow, do you guys do that?
I didn't. I was too chicken to do anything like that.
I never did it either. I wouldn't have been too chicken to do it, but I never had the opportunity. I jumped off
My
of
biggest-
plenty of bluffs and rope swings and bridges and things, but never a silo.
My biggest fear when it came to that was if you got up on the top, and I know you don't have to go all the way to the top and stand on the top, but I would be afraid that I'd get up on the top and then I'd just fall the other way and then just be stuck in a silo.
Into the silo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, you just swim out, I guess, right?
yeah, but
how
if you,
how do you get out
depends
of
on
the
how
silo?
deep it is on the inside, you know?
Those things are pretty deep. If they're the ones I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
out there
yeah,
in Tellico.
so- right.
Yeah, they're pretty deep.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get in a lot of trouble these days for jumping off those silos, by the way. I don't think anybody does it
really?
anymore. I don't think anybody
Oh,
does
wow.
it anymore.
Well, that's probably good.
And
Yeah.
so let me just quickly, little quick tangent.
Tangent alert.
If we haven't already been on a tangent, the kids these days, they're not as tough as we were. I know every generation says that, right? But okay, so we were doing rope swings and jumping off bluffs and stuff. And last time I went back to try the rope swing, that somebody chopped the tree down, and it's just like everybody's afraid of people getting hurt now. And
Well,
maybe
it's
it's like
not that
getting
everybody-
lawsuits or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing everybody's afraid of. No, it's not as much as everybody just doesn't want to be sued.
Which I understand.
Did you ever see another tangent, and then we'll get to the meat of the show? But
Tangent alert.
did you ever see the video about the guy that he owned the land the rock quarry was on, and a bunch of people went and jumped off this high jump. There's a bluffs kind of there at the high jump at that place, and he was he let kids come swim there and let them jump off there, and then some kid died.
Uh-huh.
And then the news
wow.
was all out there are you gonna shut this down? And he was like, no, I'm not gonna shut this down. But the thing is, he was he was talking about how much he enjoyed seeing the kids there, and how much he just enjoyed having those kids there having fun. And his voice, I kid you not, was exactly like Herbert, the pervert on Family Guy.
Oh wow.
You have to look
Nice.
it up. It's great. It's great. So, but
Oh,
anyway,
boy. All right, so let's get into the meat of what we really want to talk about, and that's Journey to Silius. Justin, do you have some history for us?
Now it's time for Justin's historical tidbits and trivia. Time to get out your D-pad notepads because you're about to get schooled by the doctor.
yeah, get out the notepads. All right. Here Well, we've got a guest, so you know what that means.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
It's a quiz. It's a quiz game. And
Time for me to
actually,
time for me to lose again.
This quiz game, unlike some of my quiz games in the past, all the questions will actually be related to the game.
Oh wow.
So,
Wow.
no wild cards. No wild cards here. So, all right.
I'm a little disappointed, but that's okay. That's okay.
I
okay.
thought you were going to talk about something else, but we'll probably get into
Usually it's something random, but you know, we'll these questions are going to be based on the game.
Okay,
Sure.
I'll allow
All
it.
right.
All right. So, question number 1. So, Jay-Z, I'm sure you remember how to play this. We ring in by saying
Yeah.
your name,
I'll just say John then. Yep.
and you can ring in at any time, or you can wait until all the choices have been read. All right, here we go.
Yep.
Number 1. This game was originally based
John.
All right, John.
Terminator.
Yes, it's the Terminator. So this game was originally based and designed to be a game to come out along with the Terminator movie. However, they lost the licensing during the development, and so they had to do some rearranging on the game. And of course, it was no longer about Terminator since they didn't have the license. Another game company did actually get the license for Terminator for the NES.
Mike.
No, this is not a question.
Ah, dang it.
And
Was the first one a question?
the first one was a question. You got that one
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
But the Terminator did actually get a licensed game, but it was bad. Apparently, I've never
Yeah.
played it.
It's
And
awful. It's
Terminator.
abysmal.
There was a Terminator 2 game that was licensed none other by, guess who? LJN, or LGN, as me and Mike like to call it from time to time.
That's only you.
Oh, it's me? Okay.
I'm always
which was
perfect. I never get anything wrong.
All right, sure. All right, so Jay-Z comes out to a commanding lead. I don't even think I got 3 words out on that.
Oh, I already knew. See, this is what I thought you were going to talk about the whole time, was you're going to make Terminator questions, because, like, I don't know, there wasn't too much stuff on here, but go ahead.
That's
See, I
the
was
only-
assuming you were going to throw us for like a curveball, and you know, like sometimes you make the questions really long so that the person thinks they got it, but then they don't. That's what I was waiting on.
Yeah. All right. So the main composer for this game was Naoki Kodaka. Naoki Kodaka talked about, or was the composer for many games that we have talked about on this show.
Okay.
Kodaka retired from video game music in 2002 to become something else. What was his new role? Was it A, professor, B, composer of a symphony, C, a rock star,
Mike.
D, or an opera? Go ahead, Mike.
I feel like professor. I feel like it should be professor.
Yep, it's professor.
Yes.
Oh, I should have guessed.
At a music university in Japan, where he still is a professor.
Oh wow, that's neat.
Good. He deserves to teach music.
Yes, he does.
Another name, he also did Batman, which we've talked about. on the
Yeah.
show. So
All the
another-
Sunsoft games.
Yep. All right. Number 3, question 3. So now we're tied up at 1-1. Number 3. There were some subtle differences between the Japanese and European versions with the US version. Which of the following items did the main character have in the Japanese and European versions that the US version didn't? Is it A, a shield, B, a helmet, C, a
John.
sidekick? John?
B.
It is B, helmet.
Yes.
Oh man.
So in the Japanese and European versions, he had armor and a helmet, and which he
I
didn't
think-
have in U.S. version. He had that locks of golden, beautiful salad.
Yeah.
On his head. So
I think I would have really preferred the helmet. I got to look this up, see what it looked like. because that was like
Actually,
we'll
I
get
don't
into
know
that
where
here.
I heard that, but I heard that somewhere.
if you look up the sprite, it's pretty cool looking. He actually looks kind of like RoboCop, to be honest, in the
Oh,
Japanese version. But anyway,
cool.
That was we'll get into that here a little bit later. That was one of maybe my only sticking points with this game is the character
right.
design of the
All
main
right.
character.
Don't
But anyways,
sell the-
well,
don't
sorry.
sell the farm in the first
Huh.
gen.
But I just want to talk about the
Oh,
game.
God.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
I'm just
We'll get to
excited.
it. Okay. All right. 2-0.
Okay.
I would have talked
Or
about
2 to
it,
1. Sorry. 2 to 1. All right. Number 4. The Japanese pre-release for this game was called what? Was it A, rough, B, tough, C, rogue, or D, revenge?
No, I don't want to ring in yet. I would like to
John?
have one, I'd like to have one answer off the board before I'm comfortable
All
with my
right,
guess.
John.
A?
It is A. Look at you, Mike. You snooze, you lose.
What is A? What
Rough.
was the answer?
Rough.
Rough.
Which
That's
the
okay. I would have got it
actual
wrong
game
anyways because I
release-
was going to say Rogue.
Which the actual game in release in Japan translated to Rough World. So
Isn't it Raff World? Or is that
Well,
the
it's
European
Wrath, but it's like
Yeah.
supposed to be
Right.
rough. It's supposed to
Okay,
mean
all
rough.
right. That's what it's supposed to. Okay, but it
All
sounds like, or it looks like Raff World. Yeah.
So Mike is mathematically out of it,
Dang it.
but we'll go ahead and go with question 5, which I guess I lied a little bit. This question isn't really about the game as much. But of course, this game was released by Sunsoft in 1990. What was one of Sunsoft's first arcade games that was loosely based as a Donkey Kong
Mike,
copy? Mike?
I definitely know this one. It was Kangaroo.
It was Kangaroo. I knew you'd get this one. I knew
You
it.
know me and kangaroos.
Good job.
It was a law. It was a lob for you. So,
Yeah.
all
I didn't know
right.
they made that.
That should
Yeah.
give me how many points behind was I?
2.
Like 2. That should give me a double points for how awesome I am about knowing about the kangaroo
Didn't even-
game.
Yeah, you didn't even need the choices. All right.
No, I didn't even.
All right.
I didn't have. There was no hesitation. I know all about.
Well,
kangaroo.
so I should
Yeah,
get,
yeah,
like,
but I
points for
just-
the first answer.
Yeah, that's
Then-
what I was about to say. Jay-Z it definitely should get 2 points for the first one because I mean he I got like 3 words out. He knew the
Okay,
answer.
but I knew the answer too. I thought you were going to trick us.
Okay, let's wrap up history
Okay, that's
there. Let's move on. And Mike, did you have this game or did you go on a quest to find this game?
Now it's time for the thrill of 8-bit discovery with Michael's quest to find the cart.
Well, Justin, I'm going to start this off by telling a little story about when I was a child. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Tangent alert!
But related, I promise. So when I was a kid, I don't know when the original Terminator came out. What was it, like in the late 80s maybe? 1984,
I'm not
1984.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not- yeah, okay.
So about-
83, I think, or 84. Oh, right.
Okay, so it was 83, 84, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So I was, by the time it came out on video or on the TV, like HBO or whatever, I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, I guess, 6 at the most. And we were watching it in my house with my parents. I guess my parents were for some reason okay with it. I don't really know why. But they would come to regret it because during one pivotal scene in which somebody says a very not family-friendly word, I turned around to my mother and said the exact same thing right back to her. because it also had mother in it, and I thought, maybe that's something you say.
Yeah. Right.
And so,
Oh,
as
boy.
punishment for doing that, my parents bought me Journey to Silius and forced me to play it over and over again. And it was so difficult for me as a child that it was a very good punishment from my parents.
All
Yeah,
right.
no doubt.
Yeah. Actually, the true story is I never had this game as a kid. I bought it later after the internet had birthed and people were ranting and raving about the music and all that stuff. I went out and picked this game up a little bit later in life. So it's probably 6 or 7 years ago I picked it up.
Oh, okay.
Just bought it. What about you guys? Justin, did you have it? I don't remember you ever having this game.
No, never played this game until we started talking about doing it for the podcast. This is a new one.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Never really even crossed my radar. So.
Wow.
What about you, John?
That's great. Yep, I got the game. Got it right here. It's awesome. So I got a little bit of a story about this one. It's so I have this guy. I posted it in the group too. The HVGN. He did a great review on this game. It was like a second review or whatever.
He's
this
the
guy
happy video game nerd.
Yeah,
like the opposite
now
of
he's
the angry.
Right. That was how the gimmick started. Was he entered a contest about AVGN was putting on to like have a similar video or something like that. But anyway, so he stopped skeletons from fighting now. He stopped doing the happy nerd thing at some point just to kind of differentiate himself. But yeah, he's like my favorite YouTuber. So he was the kind of the style that influenced me to go and, you know, the kind of style that I have for my videos and stuff. Well, the ones I put a lot of effort into, like the real JZNES videos, like the Jetsons video, that kind of stuff. That's very HVGN. So, but yeah, I watched the heck out of his channel back a few years ago, right when I was starting the collection. So it's kind of a special game for me because this is even before I started like documenting where I was getting each game and all that stuff. So it was like early like 30 games of my collection. So, you know,
Cool.
just based off his recommendation, you know, because I'm like, you know, this looks great. And I ended up really loving it. So,
Which we will get into that.
Yeah.
Very soon. Actually, very, very soon. But first, I forgot two things. Well, one thing I forgot, and the other we just naturally must do. We got to take a break. But to lead us into break, I'm going to play the intro that I should have played at the beginning of the show. But I always forget it. So, here it comes.
Oh, man.
So we're going to play the intro to the show, and then we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
This is the No Swear Gamer from YouTube and the Atari 7800 Game by Game podcast, and you are listening to the podcasting pride of the Smoky Mountains, the Two Dudes in a Nest, with your hosts, Dude Michael and Dude Justin.
Ooh, boy. I'm tired, guys. I am tired because I spent like 5, maybe 6 years recording a podcast the old-fashioned way. I'd hitch up my wagon, I'd put my saddle on my pony, I'd ride on down to the water wheel, start that water wheel rolling, hook up my microphone to that electricity made from the water wheel, and I would record on to electric tape, and then put that tape into a record player, and then broadcast that to the world, and that's how you guys used to hear our podcast. So it was a lot of work. I don't get so tired anymore because we have started using Anchor. And Anchor, I tell you, man, if you guys want to start a podcast, Anchor is definitely the way to go. And I'm not just saying that because they're sponsoring the podcast. Anchor is free. It's legitimately easy to use. It has everything you need to make a podcast in one place. On your phone, you just take your phone and use your phone, or you use their website and just hook up a microphone to your computer. Boom. Recorded your podcast, right? They even have music in there. You can put music in the background, put music in the podcast, all from the Anchor app. No joke. You can distribute that podcast everywhere. They are owned by Spotify now, so you can totally get on Spotify. You can get on Apple Podcasts. You can get on all the other weird podcast places. It's legitimately, I think, everywhere. And one of the only reasons we got on Spotify, I think, was because we started using Anchor.fm. That was actually one of the reasons why we even started to use Anchor.fm, because we thought maybe now we can get on Spotify. Now, once we started using Anchor, Anchor also started putting in sponsorships. So here we are, Two Dudes in an S, making money on Anchor sponsorships. Sometimes you'll hear all kinds of crazy stuff on here. This one is actually a sponsorship from Anchor. So Anchor is hosting our podcast and paying us to tell you to host your podcast on Anchor. So download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Highly recommended from us. Saves a lot of time. Saves you a lot of money too if you want to start a podcast, because podcasting's not totally cheap, but it's getting cheaper, and that's a lot of thanks to Anchor.fm. And we're back.
I'm glad we know what show we're listening to now.
Finally. I've been waiting on that.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of which show I was on, so.
I know.
Right.
I don't know why every time I forget that, and I really want to put it at the start so that the No Swear Gamer people can hear that and go check him out, because he did such an awesome intro for us that I want his intro, or the intro to all our segments, that I want his intro to be a part of this, and I just always forget. I'm a very bad soundboard operator sometimes. Well,
You're a very bad man.
Most of the time, actually. A bad soundboard operator.
Well, we need to hire it out. Anybody listening?
Yeah, anybody listening that wants to make about $0 and spend about an hour and a half a week, sometimes 2 hours.
Right. Come on over to Michael's house.
Yeah. Come to my house, because I got the soundboard.
After a thorough background check.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you're just gonna let
don't want just some random person.
Yeah, we need to also have talked on over the phone a few times and the internet. Yeah, got to go through a background check. You probably need top secret clearance. We can get that done through the White House. I'll call up my buddy Trump.
Right.
And we'll get it figured out. Yep. But for now, I'll be the soundboard operator, and I got this little button to press right here.
Time to dig into some good old-fashioned game discussion.
All right, let's talk about the game. And what better way to start talking about the game than to go to the manual?
That's
now,
right.
Typically, I read from the manual, but oftentimes when we have guests on that I suspect may have a manual, I'll ask if they want to do the reading.
I don't have the manual. Sorry. I did see a boxed copy at the last Portland Retro Gaming Expo, but this is when I was buying like the end of my collection, so I had to buy like little Samson and stuff. But it was expensive. It was like $80-$90, and I'm just like, I want this, but I can't. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this may be actually the first time I was wrong about the guest not having the manual. So I guess I'll read from it. Mine's a PDF manual. I don't have the original manual.
Sure.
But it's a typical Sunsoft manual. It looks kind of like the Batman manual in a way. Just I guess they have a certain style to them, which is cool. I always appreciate games with a style, or developers who have a style. Like Capcom had a style, Konami had a style, Sunsoft kind of has a style too. So I like that. So here's the game's story. Actually, I guess first we should read should we read the limited warranty?
Maybe just for time's sake. We'll skip it.
Okay, so you want to just skip that one? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I do have the manual pulled up now. I PDF like you guys, so just
okay.
I can read whatever you need if you need.
All right. Well, I'll read the plot here, and then I'll turn it over to you for some other stuff. The year is 1984, Los Angeles. A cyborg assassin known as that's the wrong plot.
Yeah.
That was the Terminator.
That was the plot. Yeah.
Okay. The time is the year 0373. So I guess the clock rolled over and Y2K actually happened and they had to start over.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. In the new space age calendar. Oh, there you go. They explain. The Earth's population is exploding so rapidly that people are seeking exodus to an outer space paradise. People everywhere are eager to develop space colonies and immigrate to them. I almost said impregnate. Immigrate to them. Hey, wait a minute. Jay McCrae, Jay-Z, do we know? I think we know why you like this game.
Yeah.
Is no exception. He is preparing for his journey to the new space colony number 428 in the Silius solar system. He decided to move to the colony because his father, an astute scientist, was instrumental in the space colony development. Jay had always been proud of his father and wanted to be like him, even more so now, because his father was appointed leader of the SSS colony development. You guys have any suspicions as to what SSS means? They don't actually tell us, so...
I think that it's the Silius solar system, right?
Oh. Well, that's smart.
Yeah, that makes
How
sense.
would I have not thought of that?
Well, I'm a dummy. I guess you guys just take over. I'm gonna go jump out this window here.
I know what SOS means.
What's that mean?
Food. Stuff on a shingle.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's not really stuff.
Replace stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Jay's dream is to be on a space colony development team. Unfortunately, his dream will not come true. A devastating explosion rocked the SSS colony and destroyed everything, including all project data and the research team. Any further development of the colony would be impossible. Because Jay's father was killed in the explosion, Jay would never know what really happened. Well, he died in an explosion, I guess. I mean, that's kind of...
You kind of know there.
You kind of know what happened. He is determined to take over for his father, but without his father's records, research is at a standstill. While searching his father's room, Jay finds a floppy disk. When he puts it in the computer, he realizes it contains a complete plan of the SSS colony development. The disk also includes a letter from his father, which reads, "Terrorists are plotting to destroy the colony development. If anything happens to me, you must complete the project." And so the rest of the game plans out kind of like SimCity. You just kind of... No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Father knew this would happen, Jay said to himself. But now that I have his plans, I can finish his work. As Jay worked on the project, he realized the terrorists were still out there and even more determined to destroy the SSS colony plan. Jay then vows, "I have no choice but to fight the terrorists to defend the colony development and to avenge my father's death." The end. Or, I guess, the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite the elaborate story there.
Yeah, it is. It's a pretty good story, actually. One of the better ones for some of the games we've talked about.
I feel like a lot of the games lately have been this same theme of like overpopulating the earth and using up all the resources.
Well, that was a common thing, I think, like in the 70s and 80s. You know, they used to always say, like, we're going to use up all the gas, we're going to use up all the food, because, population's growing faster than our food supply and things. So this was a common thing that, like, people talked about back then.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, it's kind of like climate change today, right? So everybody's like, well, we're going to be dead in 10 years anyway because of climate change, right? Well,
yeah.
The thing about climate change is, this is not to get on a tangent, but
this is tangent alert.
Yeah, there you go. Just like we solved the food, quote unquote, food crisis in the 70s and 80s and things, we'll probably solve this one too. But anyway,
there's always got to be some big disaster looming, right? Otherwise, we would probably just sit on our butts and play Journey to Silius all day.
Yeah,
which would be better, but
Yeah, it's nice that they actually put some effort into a story, since they lost the license for the whole Terminator thing, like they had to just come up with something at the last second kind of thing. So, it's nice that they even tried, Most people would just be like, oh yeah, whatever, he's a space guy, he's running, it's Contra, get over it, or something, something like that. But
yeah, so I guess this game is basically like what you said. It's basically Contra in a way, but it's maybe mixed with a little Mega Man sort of.
Yeah.
And I guess a few other games. It's kind of a mixture of a bunch of games, but it definitely wears its Terminator origins on its sleeve. I mean, it's pretty in your face that it was once going to be a Terminator game. As a kid, I didn't play this game as a kid, but if I would have played it as a kid, I probably wouldn't have noticed. but as an adult, knowing the background of the game, it's very obvious that it was originally meant to be a Terminator game.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I guess, did either of you guys play it as a kid, or did you just play it once you were an adult?
Only as an adult for me, so.
Yeah, same here. Like I said, I mean, I found out about it through that video and, but went tracked down a copy, probably got it on eBay or something, This is before it got a little more, it's not too expensive, but, like a little bit higher now. Every game's expensive now.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I got it. I was right at the start of the collection, so.
Yeah, so you probably got it for pennies on the dollar, as they say.
Yeah, it was probably like $10 or something when I got it, so.
Well, then let's just get into it. What are your thoughts? Just thoughts about the game now, just general thoughts.
I love the game. I think it's great. It's definitely. Oh, yeah, I think it'd definitely be in my top 10 NES games. I think of all time. So,
wow.
I'm into it. Yeah, it's a hard list, but if I want to make unique NES games, not like Mario 3, Zelda. I would probably still put Zelda 1 on there, but if I had to choose outside of that, I'd say Zelda 2. That's another good one, but a few others like that. I don't know. But yeah, I love it. It's great. It's maybe I'm going to be blasphemous by saying this, but I kind of prefer it to Contra. That's just my opinion.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Nick
I didn't grow up with
Stevens
Contra
is gonna.
though.
Nick
I didn't
Stevens
grow
is
up
gonna
with
be
it,
mad.
I was see the whole thing was I wasn't even barely allowed to play like our NES. It wasn't our NES. It was my brother's NES. But this is why I had a wide-eyed reverence for the system because it would barely ever work because you gotta blow in the cards. But I didn't know that back then, So, but yeah, so he would have had all the games, and that's the whole reason I got into it to begin with. There was this kind of sense of wonder, but but yeah, I didn't play it back then. But yeah, it's great. I love it. Didn't play Contra though. That's what I was getting at. So,
Gotcha.
I never even had Contra, but yeah, good.
Well, we don't need to go down the Contra rabbit hole, but
yes,
this game. I mean, like I alluded to earlier, it's got very much a Contra vibe to it. It's also got very much a Mega Man vibe in that you kind of get different weapons as you play through the game. You get up to, I think, 6 different weapons. And they're all, for the most part, very down-to-earth weapons, like a pistol, a shotgun, a machine gun. Then it gets a little bit crazy with like a laser gun and like homing missiles.
This is what I think's funny about the game, and this is a neat thing about the game, but it's also kind of funny if you think about it, because you get the weapons basically by the quote unquote mini boss right before the boss. Basically, you beat him, and then he's just like, "Oh, here, this will help you beat the next guy." It's he's protecting that guy, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, here, take this, beat the next guy with this."
That's true. Yeah. He is kind of. He said, "Well, I guess if you can beat me, I'll just go ahead and give you the easy way to beat my friend over here."
Yeah, here's some help. So
it's funny. Some of the mini bosses are harder than the actual bosses. I think afterwards, some of them are a lot easier, but a few of them are just oh wow, this is a lot harder than the other. There's a guy, is it the 5th stage or something where you have to keep shooting him and then his headlight comes off and goes around. That guy is so hard, and then the boss after it's not that hard at all, kind of thing. So
yeah, but I think as a common theme, and maybe you guys felt differently, but this is a tough game. I mean, it's kind of a short game, but I didn't get anywhere near the end because it's a pretty hard game.
Yeah. How did you guys play? Did you play it old school card, or did you go demo mode? Because I definitely did the demo mode route because I knew I could beat it on the card. I just I wanted to have a fun time with it. I knew about the continue system. Oh, that's the other question. Did you guys use the continue code or not?
I did not. I played it in demo mode, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I cheated my way through it with save states for the most part. Like if I died,
so
if I
did I,
died, I
but-
just reloaded a save state and continued on.
But I think that's the way to do it if you don't want to have. I mean, it makes it a lot easier, but it makes it bearable. Like you can actually get through the game at that point. I feel like, and this is like a wider topic too, but it's just like continue systems sometimes just aren't. They're from the arcade days, so it's like they take that, they put that on the NES. I get it, I get why it was there, but nowadays you just want to play the game, so it's like I don't see, like, nowadays save states are pretty, they're helpful to mitigate that trouble of the continue systems, or whatnot. This game is fair because it does give you the 9 continues if you go into the menu and do that, but even then it's still pretty tricky to get through. I mean, it's a lot easier to get through than 3 continues, but you know what I'm saying. So.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know that's kind of a hotly debated topic in a way, is whether or not you should use save states and stuff. My personal view on it is, if it'll allow you to enjoy the game and play more of it, then I don't see anything wrong with it. That's what I do.
Yeah,
especially on a limited time. I mean, I don't have 6 months to get awesome at this game, and we're trying to cover this in a week, maybe 2 weeks time.
It was hard enough for us to do a podcast on the game, like playing the game would take forever if you're not. Trust me, I would know. I sat there for like years. Okay, here's the one thing. The game is hard, right? So I did beat it on the cart, but it took me years. Ever since I first played it on, when I got it back at the early start of the collection. That was like 5 years ago. And I think I just beat it like last year or the year before or something. And, it took me forever, but I finally got it at one point, and I'm just like, this is great. I finally beat it. So I could never get past like the 2nd level or something. Or maybe it was the 3rd level. It was the 3rd level is what it was. Yeah.
The 3rd one is pretty hard. I had some trouble with that one.
That's right. Yeah. I never got past the 3rd. So.
Yeah, that was where I would always get stuck, and I'd always lose all my continues there. Even, then I found out about the other, like the 9 continue code, which is good. So, but even then, you still have to make your way through the game. So it took me forever to beat the game. But so my point is, I guess, that save states are helpful for that. Like if you're trying to enjoy the game and not have to worry about the continue system, if you just want to play the game. So.
Right. Yep. Right. I'm with
you.
Yep. Speaking to the gameplay of this game a little bit, and part of what made it difficult for me, of course, it's a difficult game by design, but it's also, I found it a little difficult because the jumping mechanic. I don't know if you could call it realistic, I guess, or something, but a lot of games, they're very gamey in that you can jump and you can kind of, I didn't want to jump this far, so I'll just move my guy back while he's jumping in the air. This game has more of like a momentum, and
you're committed.
And when you jump, you're committed. Yeah, so it's kind of like a lot of the tricky jumping sections were really difficult for me.
It is a little bit more realistic if you want to look at it like that. Not that you come to a game for realism, of course, but it was definitely an interesting jumping system for sure. I had some trouble too at parts, but you get kind of used to it, I guess. It's I like it. I mean, the jumping overall, I think it's cool once you get used to it, but it just takes a while. And they designed some pretty tricky jumps and stuff half the time, where you gotta really work on it. So.
Yeah, so that's where for me the save states really help prevent me from pulling out all my hair. You know what I mean? Like if I had to run into some of that stuff and rely on continues and whatnot, and maybe eventually have to start the game over, I would have probably struggled a lot more with the game and struggled a lot more to enjoy it. But I don't know. I feel like I could have gotten used to the controls of the jumping, but it was different than most games that I'm used to playing. So that kind of threw me off a little bit.
Definitely.
Did you guys enjoy the graphics and the character designs and all that jazz?
So that's, I alluded to this earlier, but that cabbage on his head, I love it. It's some good flow. He's got some good flow going.
Oh, you do like it? Okay.
I thought you love the bowl cut.
No, it's not a bowl cut. Oh. It's some good flow. He's like, I don't know what you'd call it, but I like it. He's like a surfer dude.
Man,
Yeah.
I alluded to it earlier, and I think that is the worst part of this game, is the
It is
design of the main character. It does not fit at all.
Actually, kind of looking at it, the hair is it's almost like Trump's hair. It actually looks like Trump's hair.
Wait,
like it's got that kind of
this
like
could
flip
be. This is Trump saving America. That's what this game is. I think I like it a little bit more now. I take everything back that I just said about the character design.
So now you like the flow? Do you like the hair?
I like it. I take it back.
But yeah, looking at the Japanese version, I wish they just kind of kept that version instead of the American version, because it's pretty sweet. Like I said, kind of reminds me of kind of like a RoboCop looking character.
The Japanese version?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Is it the same as the European version?
I think they are the same. Yeah.
It's kind of a guy. Looks like he's wearing a gas mask almost.
Yeah. Blue. He's like all blue.
It's kind of blue. Yeah, I think he looks awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been cool if they stuck with that. But this, I don't hate this design either. I think it's good. I think the enemies stand out a lot more though. They look pretty cool for the most part.
Oh yeah, as far as the enemies and the backgrounds and stuff, I really did like the graphics in that.
The level design were always really cool, and they always felt different too. You felt like, okay, this level's like a factory, and this level's like a kind of a base, and I'm outside on this level running around and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I love that. I love the I think the designs of the background are great. But let me tell you something that we've kind of glossed over. Maybe we didn't gloss over it, but the intro scene with the cutscenes is maybe the best intro that I have come across in a game. Like, I'm serious. Like, that game, the intro with the cutscenes where the dad's like dead, he's like in the cemetery, and then the music is like perfect, and it almost gets you a little fired up to play the game.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. I like that for sure. It's graphically really cool too, as well. So.
Definitely.
Yeah, I like that too. I really like. It's very on par with like a Ninja Gaiden or something. Maybe
you know what I missed
all the way to that level, but it's up there.
Yeah. Okay, so do you guys remember? This is like these flying enemies or whatever. Like, it's like probably third level and beyond. Or whatever, but there's like these flying guys or whatever. Those guys annoyed the heck out of me.
The ones, the little, they look like drones that shoot downward at you. Is that the ones you're talking about?
No, they're like bigger. They're like robots, and they like swoop down at you. And so yeah, those guys annoyed the heck out of me. I think yeah, I
think a lot of the enemies, and you talked about earlier about there's like mini bosses and there's bosses. I think they kind of progress to like a bigger, as in takes up more of the screen type of an enemy. Like, as you're progressing through each level, it seems to me like the enemies get bigger and bigger and bigger until finally the last guy is like the entire wall or something.
Right, exactly.
Or a giant tank or something like that.
Right, so there's like the helicopter in the first one, and then it goes to like hold on, I got the bosses here somewhere. But the one you're talking about is the one with like it's where you have to use, I think you have to use the laser to like, it's like a whole wall of a guy. It's crazy. You have to like duck down and stuff. It's that one's insane.
Yeah, I'm talking about that one. I think that's stage 3, and then also the giant ship.
It's just called Troop of Cannons. That's what it's called.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's a wall of cannons. Kind of reminds you of the first boss on Contra, actually. But much more difficult.
Do you guys remember there's a boss like that? Did you guys play Batman yet for the show? I don't remember.
Yes,
we did.
We had Rob Luther on.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably been a while. Do you guys remember there's a boss like that on there? It's one of the bosses.
Yeah, he's an entire room.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to like go and actually, there's one in Mega Man 2 as well. That's kind of like that. Where you use the crash bombs it's one of the Wily stages. So I don't know. It's just kind of
I love levels like that take up the entire room.
Trope. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can definitely say that the bosses are big and kind of intimidating, you know. Ironically enough, if you look at them all, the last boss, the Terminator guy, is the smallest one.
Yeah,
you know?
and he's also like my least favorite. He's kind of poorly designed. I feel like they had to force the Terminator in there as the final boss. You know what I mean? When they could have used one of their other bosses that would have been more effective.
Outside of the whole Terminator, thing. I mean, he's pretty easy too. He's not too hard compared to the other ones, but the ship right before him, I think that's right before him, the giant ship, that gave me a lot more trouble than he did.
Yeah, I think that would have been a cool final boss. Or my favorite boss as far as design goes, like the way he looks, is the one that's got the mouth that looks like an alien, and he's got the big guns down at the bottom. Yep. That's probably my favorite.
That's a good one. Yeah,
I love that design of that boss. I think he would have been a good final boss.
Yeah, I think all the bosses are really cool. They obviously all the enemies, like we talked about, are designed well, and so they really put a lot of effort into the aesthetics for sure.
They really just put a lot of effort into this game, period. Which is kind of.
Oh, I think so. Absolutely.
Which kind of makes me sad that this game has not gotten more recognition than it did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is kind of sad. It'd be nice if we would like get a sequel or something, but I don't know. Is Sunsoft even around anymore? I think they kind of teetered out in like the PS1 era or something, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're around anymore. Justin, you're the historical Wikipedia reader.
Conglomerated by somebody or something.
I have to look it up. I don't know.
Yeah, look it up for us.
It's probably Konami or somebody who's just sitting on all the rights and doesn't even make games anymore. But yeah, it'd be cool to see like a retro sequel. Can you imagine like a Blaster Master Zero sort of style sequel?
That would be cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that.
I'd like that. Keep the same music.
Journey to Silius. Oh God, yes. Get that professor. Bring him out of retirement. Get him back.
Yeah, if you could get him back if you could get, I'm just going to start calling him the professor. If you get the professor back to do the soundtrack, then we should definitely do a remake to Journey to Silius on my Nintendo Switch.
Remake. Oh yeah, definitely.
So they're still making games.
Okay.
Their most recent game is looks like a game for on Google Play in the App Store called Alice's Warped Wonderland.
Okay.
Really?
From the Nightmare Project team. They've got a new Blaster Master called Blaster Master Zero.
Oh, so that was them.
They're involved in that, huh? Okay.
Yeah. And
did they make Blaster Master as well?
Yep.
I just totally randomly brought that up. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they did make that. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were bringing it up because you knew that.
I did know that probably, but I honestly forgot that they were. There you go. I mean, so if they're still making these Blaster Master games, there was even a sequel to that, I think. So it's like they need to get on this Journey to Silius,
So yeah, they're still making games. Looks like most of their games right now are app games, like for phones and stuff.
Sure.
I feel like. Where are you getting your information, Justin? Because I just Wikipedia'd and it's not there.
So yeah, it's on the Wikipedia page, and there's a link to their Sunsoft's website.
Oh. Okay.
So.
Cool.
All right.
They need to get on this then.
Yeah, really.
Sunsoft, if you're listening.
I mean, they're I see what you're talking about now. And they're also they just released Mahjong Solitaire Refresh for Nintendo Switch. So they're working on the Nintendo Switch, so they might as well get us.
Oh yeah.
Get us some Journey to Silius.
You know, what'd be great is if they made it really simple too. So if you have the NES controllers like I have, you could just like use those. So just it'd feel like the classic game, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
all right. Let's do it.
We
Let's do it,
kind of
Sunstone.
touched. Yeah, let's do it. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but that music, man.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Now, I mean, I'm hesitating to say, okay, is the game in my top 10 NES games? That soundtrack is definitely within my top 5 NES soundtracks.
Oh,
I would
easily.
say.
It may be the best one
Incredible.
we've talked about so far.
I'd probably
Of
say
the-
so.
Of the games
yeah.
that we've talked about, I think that this may be my favorite.
It's just so impressive how much they packed into the quality of the sound on an NES. This sounds like it could be 16-bit music. It's insane. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many layers to the music in this, like the bass and the drum. I mean, like you said, it sounds like it belongs on a much more advanced system.
Yeah, and it's just the range of songs too. So you got your high energy kind of songs, and then when you got a more somber moment, they put those kind of songs in there. They finish strong with the same themes as the first one. It's just there's a whole progression to it. It feels like you're telling a story through the music, which I love that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I will say, as we cover more and more Sunsoft games, and I guess the professor did them all.
It's the
but
professor, yeah.
He may be my favorite NES composer.
Oh yeah.
Because every Sunsoft
It's in
game
the running.
that we've covered, I've just been blown away by the music.
That's what you always know with Sunsoft. It's always there's going to be great music. The graphics are always going to be pretty good, and then the games are always going to be super hard. That's the other one. So
That's true. They do kind of have a formula, don't they?
yeah, that's what I noticed anyway. It's on NES at least. I don't know past that really, but
Yeah, I don't really know much past that either.
Right, yeah.
I'm sure they were responsible for some of the other Blaster Master games and stuff, because I know there was PS1 and Game Boy and stuff. So
It, the professor was involved just all the way up until 2002.
nice.
So-
There you go.
So yeah, but I mean, he did all of the NES Sunsoft games,
Mhm.
and there's some we haven't talked about yet, like Gremlins 2 and Spy
That's a good
Hunter and stuff like that. That
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I know we will eventually get to, and I'm sure I will probably love that music too.
Yeah.
I do wonder though. Okay, so he did. Batman came out, Batman in particular came out on the Genesis as well. Did he do the Genesis? And if so, was he as good at the Genesis sound? Because it's wildly different than the NES one. I wonder what the Genesis music sounded like.
Well, I'll tell you what. Even if the Genesis music and game is good, I bet the NES one is still better. So,
Definitely.
Oh yeah, it has to be.
yes,
Definitely.
that game has some pretty good music too, for sure. So
I don't think I've ever played the Genesis version of Batman.
oh yeah, I haven't either. I meant the NES one, of course. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Is there just a straight Batman, no Return of Joker or anything, just Batman on Genesis? Is
I
that?
think so. Yeah, I think there
Okay.
is.
Mhm. Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I played the Adventures of Batman. It's based on the later part of the animated series or whatever. That's pretty good. They got a Super Nintendo game for that. That's pretty good too. So, but I haven't played that one. The other Batman. So.
Okay, I'm going to. You guys see. We got. What about the sound effects? The music was so awesome. I didn't really pay attention to the sound effects.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'm guessing they were okay.
From what I remember of them, yeah, they're pretty good, I guess. So, but you're so distracted by the music. There's no way you're going to be listening to those sound effects outside of the few key bosses, like that big wall boss we were talking about, if you listen to the sound and like, because the beams are coming from like everywhere, if you listen to the sound, that's your one cue about when to jump, and then duck again and then jump again, kind of thing. So that really helps in that fight. But other than that, I don't remember barely at all. So
So okay, so I'm going to attempt to recreate what this soundtrack would sound like on Genesis. I'm going to do that a little bit later in the show. I'm working on a little something.
okay.
Here. But so for now, let's go on and see if it's worth it and how much it goes for. Unless you guys got anything else you want to say about the game. I mean, I feel like there's a lot more we could probably talk about, but I feel like we covered it pretty well.
No, I think so. I mean,
it's just great. The level design's great. The weapons are cool. It's hard. The soundtrack's amazing. That's all there is to say, really. I mean, we could sit there and discuss. We discussed a lot of the bosses and stuff, but like, we could sit here and discuss every inch of the level. But they wouldn't. It's not necessary.
Yeah. And just one more thing about the music. Something that we don't always talk about, Justin, but sometimes we do, and I think we should touch on it. It is one of those soundtracks that would be easily played in the car.
Could listen to. Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh,
listen
absolutely. I've blasted that theme song in my car before, and it's amazing. Especially if you got like the right setup and everything. If
you got some good speakers, it'd be good.
It's incredible. I remember saying to my friend one time while we were listening to it, like full on volume, I'm like, I can't believe this is 8-bit music. It's crazy. So because how full the sound is.
That's something that's a lot of NES games sound empty. Like their music's, even when it's good, sometimes it sounds kind of empty. But this one is
layers.
Full. Yeah, it's got layers. The sound is full. You got bass. You got the whole shebang.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to give this guy some credit. He is the professor of music, So
he is.
This is true.
It's got Stevie Wonder superstition levels.
Yeah. Nice.
Still one of the best songs ever made.
I can get behind that.
I mean, it's a good song.
Speaking of one of the best songs ever made, are you ready for my rendition of Journey to Silius, Genesis version?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right. Can you guys hear this? What do you think?
Awesome.
Sounds pretty spot on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
My cat sure seems to think there's another cat or something. he's like wide-eyed.
Look, he's there.
Like, oh my god,
he is.
He really is there. Sorry there, kitty. I'm sorry.
Where's that cat?
He looked up at me with the. He heard that. And he's like, wait, what? He had this wide-eyed expression on him. It was crazy. Anyway, yeah, that's we should be glad it doesn't come out on Genesis then. So.
I'm sorry, kitty. I didn't mean to scare you.
Oh no, he's good. He's a chill kid.
For the people listening, the cat literally is now behind John on the couch, like scared.
Oh yeah,
they're looking for a fight, I think.
Yeah. What's that? Somebody wants to fight? Somebody wants to throw down? Throw hands?
What do you want to do about it?
What are you gonna do?
All right. Anyways, so what is it worth? Is it worth it? Let's find out.
All right. I couldn't remember if there was an intro, so I gave a little pause there.
Oh yeah. No, sorry, no intro.
$30 is about what it averages for. So it's not a cheap one. And I think that's So
that one's right there on the cusp of where I would have wanted to recommend it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing.
So honestly, it's kind of priced right where it's supposed to be. But anyway, go ahead, Justin.
I'm usually a little more down on the more expensive games because, just because there's so many other good games that you can buy for cheaper. But man, I got to go with this game being worth it. This is one of the better games we've played in a while.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I got to say worth it.
I'm thinking what I was kind of getting at is I think that the market, has kind of established this game at the right price. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think the market forces have put this one in the right spot. I would say that this is totally $20 worth of great gameplay, pretty good graphics, and then it's like a $10 album worth of awesome music too. Like if you just want to play the music, I mean, so,
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's kind of where I stand. I would say it's worth it too, actually.
I'm gonna say it's worth it. I mean, I would have spent that. I mean, nowadays, especially if I was still, doing the whole NES set, but like, I would have spent 30. I mean, okay, I'm a collector, so that doesn't help. But outside of that, even if I wasn't, I still think I would have probably spent it knowing how quality the game was, and like you said, the soundtrack and everything, and even just for that, yeah, it's great. It's one of my favorites, so I would definitely pay the $30.
Do you remember how much you paid for it, JZ, when you bought it?
Oh, I don't know. It was probably like 10 or 15 bucks.
Yeah.
It wasn't too expensive. It was probably, a few years ago, that's probably about where it was worth. It was definitely less than 20 back then. So
I think I've still got the sticker on mine. Actually, I think I saw it the other day. Hold on,
Those were the days.
I'll tell you what it was if you give me just a second to go to my closet. Talk amongst yourselves.
Cool.
Yeah, that's good.
I was gonna say I know exactly how much it was worth because I started putting it down after this, so a little, maybe like 100 games in, I started documenting like when I got them and like how much and if there was a story to it kind of thing. But this is in those first 100 games, so I wouldn't know. I just have to remember, kind of thing. So anyway,
yeah, I was just saying, I hate how it's a love-hate thing where I love the popularity of retro games again, but I just hate the secondary prices that we're starting to see. Everything's
Definitely.
getting so inflated, so
it's a double-edged sword. Exactly. I know.
All right,
That's why
I looked it up. I paid $18 for it whenever I bought it.
Okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I think it was definitely worth it back then. Obviously, I bought it, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right.
Sweet. All right. So then I guess we can go ahead and assign some trophies to this bad boy.
I got some.
You know what this game needs? Some retrofitted trophies.
Okay. Well then, start us off, Jay-Z.
Okay, I don't know if I'll read all of them because I got a bunch of them, but here's one. This is kind of a personal joke between me and my friends because my friend did this video called Jamming Out or whatever, but basically it's find the sound test menu by pressing B on the title screen 33 times and then just jam out to the soundtrack. So
Sweet.
Nice.
So you can actually just go to a sound test menu and jam out to the soundtrack.
oh yeah, that's the same menu that has the continue stuff and all that. So
Oh, okay, cool. I actually never did the continues or anything like that, so.
I mean, like, okay, if you're gonna start with like an emulator and then go through, it's worth doing pressing the B 33 times. Other than that, like I had to do it on the cart. That was always annoying. Was hitting it exactly 33 times. Like you have to count or whatever. So It's ridiculous. But anyway, so that's one of mine.
Okay. I got one called Dirty Harry Would Be Impressed. And to get that one, you have to beat the game only using the handgun.
Ooh, I like
Nice. Nice.
I
That'd
tried
be
to-
good.
that. I tried to come up with one with the handgun only, but couldn't think of anything. All right, my first one is also retro action movie related, and that is Beat the Chopper. Beat the helicopter boss, the first level.
Nice.
Nice. That's a good one. All right, Jay-Z.
Yep. The rest of mine are all Terminator related. So.
The rest of mine are all Terminator related too.
Cool. We totally synced up on that. Let's see. Yep. All right. First one, Terminated. Get a game over after turning the continues up to 9.
So
You'd
turn the
have,
continues
like-
up to 9 and still lose.
So you'd have like 27 lives at that point or something. Almost like Contra, actually. It's funny. 30 live code, you know?
Oh yeah, I guess that is true. All right, my next one is hydraulic press, and that is beat the final boss. I wish I would, if this game had actually turned into a Terminator game, I think it would have been cool to like have to hit a switch or something to, like crush the Terminator.
That would have been good. Yeah.
But anyways,
Cool. My next one is Rogue Power Rangers, and that is beat the second boss, because I thought the second boss, the like tank guy, kind of looked like the Ultra Zord from Power
Nice.
Rangers.
oh yeah, like before it gets up on its feet or whatever.
No, so the Ultra Zord was the Megazord, Dragon Zord, and the Titanus, the like Bronchosaurus Zord that rarely ever came out in the show, all combined.
But
Nice.
is it the one that was like, what was the one that they did that when they combined together it was like a tank with a cannon on the side or something?
Yeah, that's the Ultra Zord.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. The only one that was
So-
missing was the pterodactyl, right?
Yeah, it like flies alongside.
That's
It's
stupid.
kind of weird. Yeah.
That's weird.
So
Although I always thought that the pterodactyl was the most versatile of the Zords because it's basically just like a fighter jet.
it's true. It's true.
Tangent alert.
I should have done that.
I also thought that Tyrannosaurus Rex was just basically could almost be its own. I always kind of liked it when the Tyrannosaurus Rex just fought as its like separate Zord, but it was the only one. I never really thought about the pterodactyl being the fighter jet, but it was the only one that was really anything on its own, right? If you think about like the Mastodon, the Triceratops, and Saber-toothed Tiger, they weren't really much of anything on their own, right?
Yeah, that's true. Except for
So-
that I was right about the pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl and the Tyrannosaurus.
Yep.
But they never spend any time really separated, right? They just call on their Zords and then they just become Megazords.
I mean, what's the point? They didn't have any reason to be separated.
Right. That's true. I'm kind of up on the Power Rangers right now because I've got my
Nice.
daughters watching the old school ones. So
Cool.
Very
Cool.
yeah,
Very
they're
good.
they're super corny though. Like
Yeah.
you
They
know,
are.
like the old school Ninja Turtles are not that like the cartoon is not that corny, but like the old school Power Rangers are pretty corny.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm looking at these guys, and they're like these actors. You know, they're probably in their 20s at the time. They're playing high
Oh, yeah.
school, and I'm like, how'd they ever convince these people to like do this? This is embarrassing. It's so bad. But anyway, Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. It was also, a little too on the nose, we'll say, if you know what I mean, by who they cast in what role. You know what I mean?
yeah.
By the way you're laughing, I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. That's true.
All right, let's get back to trophies. Whose turn is it?
I don't remember.
I think it's Jay-Z's turn.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. How about this one? Judgment Day came early. Failed to beat the first level of the game before game over.
Nice. I think I got
So if
that one,
you're-
actually.
Yeah.
Several
So-
times. Actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right, I've got
I
another
probably
one. It's called I'll Be Back. Or
Oh.
I'll be Back. And that is beat the
Yes.
game using demo mode because you can just keep coming back over and over again.
Oh, that's so much better than mine. I'll be back because it's not that good. That's a good one. Yes, good.
All right. My next one is VR Trooper Pooper.
Wait,
And
did
that
you
is
say VR
beat the-
Troopers Pooper?
VR Trooper Pooper.
Oh, VR Trooper Pooper.
Yeah, so that is beat the final boss, which kind of reminded me of the VR Trooper.
What's a
Remember
VR
VR
Trooper?
You don't remember VR Trooper?
Uh-uh.
Oh, man.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to look up. I bet you would remember it if you looked it up.
Okay.
It
hold on.
had one of the Lawrence brothers.
Do what? Like a Joey Lawrence type of Lawrence? Is
Yeah,
that
it
what
was
you're
the
talking
one. It was the middle one, the one that was on Boy Meets World. Matthew, I think is his name.
about?
He was like the main character, and it was basically like kind of like Power Rangers.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the
okay.
show?
I'm
Like,
seeing it.
he, like,
now, yeah.
In order to fight the bad guys, you had to have to go into like the like virtual reality
I
realm.
vaguely remember. It looks like they're like wearing cardboard outfits or something here. It
Yeah,
kinda looks
it's
like.
it's really bad, but yeah. The final boss kind of reminded me of the VR Trooper. So.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that is definitely a straight up Power Rangers ripoff, huh?
Yeah. I guess no, that wasn't the Lawrence. I thought it was the Lawrence brothers, but it's a guy named Brad Hawkins that played the main character, who's also a country music singer and a politician.
Wow. Okay.
Alrighty then. Neato. So,
He is now, or he was then.
Is now, I guess.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. That's very interesting. The the one thing I can't get over, I keep looking at it, is the one that's the girl, like the female trooper, I guess. Her costume is just, it's very awkward. It's like they, forgive me for dancing on the family friendly line, but it's like her they wanted to give her boobs, but they wanted it to not look like them, so they just made her box look a little different. It's like
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
it's very strange.
The budget for VR Troopers had to be like $38.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it really did. Like,
Just enough for some spray
Okay.
paint and just some leftover cardboard.
yeah. Oh man, those are pretty bad. So, anyway,
Anyway, anybody got any more? I think
I got one more.
I'm basically tapped out.
yeah, I'm tapped.
So my last one is, I mean, this could basically be the Tom Arnold would be impressed. I call it the Big Boss emblem because I just, I don't know if you guys know Metal Gear Solid at all. I mean, you covered Metal Gear. But that's not exactly the same thing. But in Metal Gear Solid, there's always the highest rank that you can get at the end of the game is Big Boss. So you always get the Big Boss, the emblem or whatever at the end. And so mine is beat the game without continuing. And in under an hour. So
That seems very difficult.
Yeah,
yes, indeed,
let's see what
That
the
was-
speed run is.
yes, exactly. Yeah, it's like 28 minutes or something. So I was gonna say under a half hour, but only a few people could probably do that. So
Yeah. Ooh, here's one. Looks like the record here. 11 minutes and 26 seconds.
what?
That is ridiculous.
Is that a tool assisted speedrun though? That's
I don't know. It's on YouTube, so you can check
Okay.
it out.
Let me just
But-
real quick. I'm
That
gonna
probably
go.
is. Means a bot ran through it or whatnot. But that still takes some effort to somebody to put every single move in there. But that's
Yeah, okay.
impressive.
Hold on.
Tangent alert.
No, it's a guy sitting there playing it.
Wow.
This is for real.
Hey Justin, I know
Yeah.
we just started a new Patreon with the Bit Brothers and all, but I'm going to go ahead and cause some people to probably drop their donation with my next comment. But maybe you guys can help me out. I don't know what tool assisted speedrun means. What does
All
that
right,
mean?
so basically it means that somebody went into the emulator and did every single move. They map out every single move, and it's like a speed run because but they get to sit there and map out let's go left, then jump here, and it basically if you do it right, it basically forms a perfect run of the game that like no human could possibly do, but but with the movements of the game, that's they have a perfect run of the game.
I see.
You know what I mean?
So somebody programs the character to do the perfect run.
Yeah, so they have to figure out how to do it, but also, it's just the game playing itself, basically. So,
well, in this one, the guy's actually sitting there with an NES controller playing it on a video. It's like a split screen, and his name is Zaki Draggy.
That guy would definitely get the award. Hey, I'll be 1 second. I gotta do something quick. I'll be right back.
Okay,
So,
all right.
go amongst yourselves.
Are you pulling a Carl? It's okay if you are.
No.
Okay, all right, just checking.
I do remember that meme. That's hilarious, though. But, no.
All right.
I'll be back.
I'll say what's interesting about these speed runs, and I've noticed a few of these speed runs that do this, and this guy's doing this, is the way they hold the controller. They all hold it weird. It's like they hold like the D-pad. They're not using their thumbs for the A and B buttons. It's
What are
like
they using? Their fingers?
Yeah, basically. They're holding the controller basically on their thigh. And I've seen a few use this, and it must be something to, you must be able to use the controller quicker or something if you do this. But he's basically got the controller up against his thigh, essentially how you do when you get angry and try to bend the controller.
Uh-huh.
But he's got his thumb pretty much using the D-pad, but then he's using like his pointer and middle finger for the A and B buttons. So it's interesting.
That is interesting.
I feel like that would just be more awkward for me.
Yeah, I would do much worse trying to play like that.
So,
oh well.
But maybe it's some kind of technique.
Yeah. So while Jay-Z's gone, let's go ahead. This is I know we just made the announcement, but I guess we can talk about it again in case somebody skipped the announcement for a game episode. But we are joining the Genesis Germs and forming a network, and we are now going to be called the Bit Brothers.
That's right.
So with that being said, you have about 1 month before the old Patreon goes away. So if you need any of those old episodes, go get them now. And then when that thing goes away, then you can come join us on the Bit Brothers at patreon.com/bitbros.
That's right.
Yep. So moving on over
taking
there.
Taking away your old Patreon episodes, is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. While you were gone, I thought we would just
sure.
go into the little announcement there to save some time at the end of the show. But yeah, we're moving Patreons to do a combo Patreon with the Genesis Gems. Now going to be called Bit Brothers.
Oh, okay.
Patreon.com/bitbros. And so the Two Dudes in an S Patreon will go away come like May 30th.
Oh, I see.
So if you want any of those old episodes that are on the Two Dudes Patreon now, then go download them because come May 30th they'll go away. And we hope that you guys out there will move your donation over to the Bit Brothers Patreon instead, where you'll get plenty of new rewards and
basically
new episodes and stuff.
Nice.
More bang for your buck because you're getting more content, right?
Yep, you're going to get more content. So you're going to get both Genesis Gems and Two Dudes stuff for not the same price, but a very similar price. Less than it would be if you donated to both of us, basically. So
I see.
Yeah, so it should be a benefit for all, but the old Patreon is going away. So we'll probably eventually figure out how to get all that old stuff on the new Patreon, but for now we're just going to let it go away. And the reason we're picking May 30th as the date to close down the old one is because we're hoping we can close it down before it charges anybody again, because we don't want it to, since we're not going to be posting anything else there, we're wanting it to close down before it tries to charge people for the next month.
I gotcha.
And so we don't want anybody to go start donating on the Bit Brothers now and then get charged again for Two Dudes, which I'll just go ahead and tell you now, Justin, I'm sure you're probably fine with this. If that happens, we can refund you. It's no big deal. but we would prefer that not to happen at all. But anyways, moving on.
All
How
right.
about we give this game a rating?
All right.
No game is worthy until the dudes have spoken. It's time for the game rating.
So how you guys want to rate this game?
Uh,
Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? I feel like we've
I
done
like
that
it.
for some reason. But
We'll do it again.
all right, we'll just do it again.
Let's see.
This is gonna be a tough one.
I'm gonna go with T2, Terminator 2,
Oh wow,
because I really like. I mean, it's probably one of my favorites.
it's one of his
and-
best. Easily.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good, and this game's great. So, what are you giggling about?
I was thinking of some Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. I don't know. I thought of Jingle All the Way, and I'm like,
Jingle
I can't
All the
give this
Way.
to-
Hey, don't be hating on Jingle.
I
All the
love
Way.
Jingle All the Way.
No, dude. I'm like the only one out of my friends who actually likes this movie. I watch it every Christmas.
Oh, it's great. It's
Great.
wonderful.
But I'm not gonna give the game that. I mean, you went with Terminator already, so that's kind of okay. I gotta think.
I went with Terminator 2. You use Terminator 1 still open.
I'm not gonna use any of the Terminator ones because I feel like they're too on the nose for me.
Yeah.
I'd like to go a little deeper than that. I'm bouncing between 2 or 3 right now. So, You got one, Jay-Z?
I'm probably just gonna use Terminator 1. See, everyone says Terminator 2 is the best one, and I agree, it's a great movie. But personally, I've always liked the first one better. And this game is kind of, underrated, kind of like Terminator 1, I would say.
Good.
So I think it fits, and the game was based on it and everything. So that's what I gotta go with. Or Jingle All the Way if you want to do a holiday show. So. Because it's a great. Hey, there you go. It's a great movie and it's underrated, like we just talked about. Everyone seems to dismiss it and hate it or whatever, but I really love it. So either way, we're good to go. So
There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go for a similar reason. I'm going to go with True Lies because I feel like that one's a bit underrated. I know a lot of people like it, but I still feel like it's underrated. Also, Tom Arnold's in it. So there you go.
nice.
Oh, yeah. Gotta go. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So this game's like True Lies. My honorable mentions were Kindergarten Cop and Twins.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So feedback. We do have some feedback, I believe, and we also got an intro. We also got an intro.
It's time for D-Patter feedback, because when you're a D-Patter, you're a D-Patter for life.
All right. So, starting us off over on the Facebook page, we have the music and John Simmons starts us off with the music and graphics in this game are outstanding. I haven't spent much time with it because the difficulty is high and I lose interest quickly. Nathan Sweeney says amazing game all around, very underrated. Chris Vanderhoff says awesome game. All capital letters and an exclamation mark.
Oh, wow.
And Greg D'Antonio says amazing soundtrack. Joe Foster says I would like to see what it would look like had it remained a Terminator license. Adam Duro says some of the best sounds and graphics on the NES, but dear me, it's freaking hard. It should have been released as a Terminator game. Josh and Vivi Gonzalez says never really played it, but is it good, dudes? William Venterscar says I remember that the graphics blew me away. Awesome game. And Dustin Wynn says, great soundtrack. Got to level 4, and that's as far as I could get as a kid. It's pretty impressive as a kid.
Yeah.
And over on the Facebook group, we've got a lot here. Okay.
Oh boy.
So hold on here. Aaron Hickman says the best Terminator game on NES by far. Great music and above average gameplay. Shame Sunsoft lost the Terminator license. You could still find a prototype floating around somewhere with the Terminator references intact. Patrick Smith says, great music, but overall, whatever gameplay. Joshua Tice says, my thoughts are probably because I have a lot of nostalgia for this game, but I really love the music, and the gameplay is just as good. And Aaron Hickman came back in with, who else thinks that box art is kind of lazy? I mean, it's cool that they touched it up, but it's sort of a step backwards from their older titles. Guessing it was a last-minute replacement. Probably true. Daniel Walker says, this is a total gem. I would just wish I could find a physical copy for anything less than my firstborn. Hey, you can get it for $30. You're not pricing your firstborn enough.
Yeah, really.
You gotta put a higher price on that firstborn, man.
Somebody doesn't really like their firstborn very much.
I gotta say, sorry, really quick about the box art. Look at the Raft World one because it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's so much better than the flying guy's in there too. Right above the Darth Vader guy. Those are the guys I was talking about. Yeah, that's so much better though.
Yeah,
I'm looking it up.
It's so good. Yeah, ours is kind of, it's kind of lazy, but
US version is just basically a screenshot.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
A lot of games did that back then, though. Yeah,
man, Robert,
isn't that amazing?
Golly, I hate to say this, but this happens pretty much every game almost. That the Japanese box art's always way better.
Look, he's got his helmet too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because they felt like we just couldn't handle it or something. I don't know.
It's too awesome for us.
Yeah, really. I feel like they did that all the time.
Like all the bosses are there too. Look at this. This is great.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh man.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree, and just I think the sprites, even as much as I love the game that we played, I mean, it looks like the Japanese version was probably better.
Yeah.
All right. Jay Jorgensen says Terminator without the licensing. John Wedgeworth says, this box art style would be so wonderful for a modern neo-retro 2D game. Don't you think? High res, high color, painting-like backgrounds with NES caliber sprites and foreground landscapes. Justin Sales says, in the golden age of collecting, late 90s, when NES games were 3 for $10 at my local shop, Journey to Silius was considered one of the original underground classics. We played the heck out of this game and particularly enjoyed its atmosphere. The soundtrack, which is chock full of what I call Sunsoft metal, is an A+. Excellent choice, dudes. Excellent choice to Jay-Z, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Jesse Clever Badal says, I got my copy from Neighbor Kid. Well, look at there. Benson Lott says, I always passed it by because of the lackluster box. However, as of late, hearing this stuff about it having ties to Terminator, I really want to try it. Chris Vanderhoff says, I got my copy when I traveled to the moon. A T-100 gave it to me.
Nice.
Aaron Hickman says, this somehow seems relevant. He's got a picture. It's a Sega CD game, and it just says cool game, just no money for packaging.
Nice.
That's pretty funny. And Ivan Kaproth Jocelyn says, love the soundtrack. All right, and over on Honorary Dudes, Chris Vanderhoff says, awesome game again, all capital exclamation mark. Jay-Z leaves a link for Happy Video Game Nerds review, so go check that out. Andrew Code says, I love this game. It gets pretty darn tough early on, but it's still fun. The Terminator connection is cool, and the music is probably top 5 of all time on NES. Underappreciated for sure. Live the life you love the life you live. Jesse Benson says, super fun game. And my call rounds us out with, I kind of regret selling my copy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do have a couple on the Twitters here.
All right.
One is from E.C. Myers. He says, it's great. I played through it recently for the first time. It's very challenging at first, but once you remember where enemies are and master the controls, it's easy, except for some BS platforming sections, which I said. I've been hooked on it lately, and I want to try a no-death run soon. Well, good luck.
Yep.
Wow.
And then we've got another one. It's from Ryan Ballard. It says, typical Sunsoft. Looks good and sounds good. Reminds me a bit of Contra and Bionic Commando. Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't think about Bionic
Awesome.
Commando, but maybe, yeah, in a way.
It's interesting.
And then we got a voicemail coming up here. Let's see what this voicemail is. Hold on. Let me turn this music down. It's real quiet. It's really, really quiet, as in, it was a nothing. It was a big fat
All
nothing.
right. I love it.
Fantastic.
I'm going to start screening these, Justin. I know it's funny,
I
but
I like it. I also I would like to hear one that's like selling us a warranty or something, like a car warranty or something like that.
Hey, guess
Yeah.
what though? It makes for a great pod. So
Great
Yeah.
pod. It's great pod.
yeah, until Truncate Silence cuts out all of that. And everybody listening now is thinking, what? I didn't hear
Yeah.
anything. Anyways.
All
okay.
right.
So, one bit of note about the feedback. I think eventually, now as we start to move towards the Bit Brothers, we will move towards having one thread of feedback. So we won't be getting it from all over the place moving forward. We might still get it from all over the place for the next, couple games, but eventually we're going to all go to that Bit Brothers Facebook group. So if you want to be a part of the feedback loop, go there.
Sweet.
Cool.
All right. Now, before we give our shout outs and stuff, JZ, would you like to tell everybody about your YouTube channel and what you do there and how they can find it?
Sure. Yeah, it's JZNES, all letters.
Spell that JZNES because the first time I went to go look it up, I tried to spell it like the rapper Jay-Z, and it did not pull anything up. Anything like you can't even type that in JZNES.
Yeah.
And Google doesn't even know how to search that for you for some reason. So it really throws it way off. And we've been making so many jokes about you being Jay-Z that I'm afraid people type the wrong thing.
Right. Well, maybe if we make enough jokes, like the actual Jay-Z crowd will come towards and see my videos, and then I'll get famous and I'll go viral or something. So
Yeah, okay, that'll work.
it won't happen, but hopefully. Yeah. So I do a YouTube channel. It's right now it's just kind of like I'll just sit down and talk about a game basically that I've been playing. So like I did Beyond the Beyond. It was this RPG I played a little while ago. It's kind of in the Golden Sun series. I just beat Super Mario Galaxy for the first time, so we'll be talking about that soon. I just that's kind of what I'm doing now. Some of my older videos about NES games and stuff, I'd like to make some more about those, and maybe even some Game Boy content in the future with that collection. JZGB perhaps. So take a come for that, I guess. I don't know. That's about just kind of a chill, like I'll sit down and talk about a game kind of thing. So not have to put in a bunch of editing and effort because that's a nightmare. So
Yep. That's the way to go.
yes.
All
So
right.
I got this nice webcam now. It shoots in really nice quality, and it wasn't even that expensive. So I just set it up and have this mic here, just kind of like we're doing right now, and just go for it. I just talk about a game, So
with the
fun.
cat.
Yep.
I've got my cat right here too.
Sometimes he's here, so for sure. So
I bet you get way more views when the cat's in it.
Yeah.
Make sure you promote that
Maybe.
and make sure you give him plenty of catnip.
Oh yeah.
Keep
I
an
just
eye.
have him do the reviews now. It'd be great, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone will come for that. Cat reviews.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right,
Well-
Justin, you want to tell them how to find us?
Well, we've got kind of a new way to find us, and that is through the Bit Brothers network page that we have on Facebook now. We encourage everybody to go check that out.
I believe
Join
it is Bit
get
Brothers Retro Gaming Community, something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if you go to our Facebook pages right now, the Two Dudes community or the podcast page, there will be a link that you can actually take to find it, as well as the new page, the Patreon that's going to be new and combined in the Bit Brothers network that will bring you both shows, Two Dudes and a NES, as well as Genesis Gems and possibly some new shows on the horizon.
We have ideas. Yep.
We have ideas. So
Nice.
just stay tuned for that. But seriously, everybody go check out that group on Facebook, because like Mike said, we're going to start consolidating these. So we want to keep the feedback flowing. We want to keep everybody involved. So hopefully you guys can find your way over there and keep the feedback going. Like today, we had a ton of feedback. So let's keep it going.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. And we feel like if we consolidate, we'll get more feedback and we'll be able to interact ourselves more, because we were spread a little thin trying to keep up with everything. But now there's going to be all four of us in there. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yep. And so now with the new format too, don't be surprised if you hear one of us on the Jim show
Ooh.
or Nick and Aaron on our show a little more often.
Yep.
So
Nice.
It's going to be a bit more of a free-for-all. But you'll always have Justin or myself on here for sure.
Mhm.
Most likely both of us.
yeah.
You just may also have a third body on occasion, or maybe even a fourth
Mhm.
body.
So it's going to be great.
Yep, it's going to be great. All right, so shout out to the Fox Dude for our awesome logo.
Mhm.
Shout out to the Wee Dude, aka Wee Guy, on YouTube for the stereoized music. RIP, shout out to the Retro Junkies. Yeah, they have dissolved, but we still want to give them love because they are part of what got us where we are today.
Spirit lives on.
Yep. And normally this would be about the time I would play the music for the next game, but I think in honor of my remix from earlier, we'll just hit that again. So until next time, everybody. Bye.
Wait. Are you not going to do the phone number?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we
yeah.
still have a phone
You
number.
you
Sorry
can
to
always
interrupt.
call us at
Gosh, we need to have you here as like a producer.
773 8761 or
There you go.
775 7 retro 1.
Dang. All right. We just need to have you as like a
Very
sound
good.
clip that we can use on every episode.
Do you want me to
That's
send you a
right.
sound clip? I'll do it.
No, well, I guess I could put it on the soundboard.
yeah,
That's all right.
soundboard.
Let me know.
Okay. We'll
Okay.
think about it.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay, now.
Yes.
I will need you, however, to send me a Facebook message every time I record and remind me to do the number. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
That's a
Yeah.
joke. All right. See
I'll
you,
just come
everybody.
on for that one bit.
Yeah.
See you later. Bye bye.
Look at Jay-Z's cat.
I'm sorry, Jay-Z's cat.